I think we're alive. I think we're getting there. Oh my goodness. Do you know what? Sometimes in this moment when it's loading and it's not actually showing that I'm going live, I have watched back on videos and I was live and I'm just sitting there going, oh, I'm such a fool. That's a little bit better, isn't it? Doesn't look so like pasty milk bottle white. All right, we're live. Welcome. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. We are live. Guys, I'm super stoked for today. Okay. Not only did I deliver you some really freaking good trainings the last couple of weeks, if you haven't watched them, go back. They've been insanely valuable. I've had quite a few people reach out to me and say thank you so much. So I'm just pleased with myself. I'm pleased with myself, and I'm really, really happy that people are being able to utilize the information. Sorry, I'm really squashed in. Utilize the information that I've been able to give you, and I know that you're going to be able to utilize this information that I'm giving you today. So let's have a look at what we're talking about today. So today I want to talk about being able to enjoy the festive season without piling on the pounds. Yes, I have the red lipstick on because it's the festive season now. I might keep it on for the rest of December, for the rest, for the start, for the entirety of December. I don't know, who knows. Either way, my forehead looks huge with this. Anyway, hi guys. If you don't know me, I am Bianca. I am that plant-based weight loss coach. Now, I just give you a little bit of a backstory. About 8 years ago now, I had a snowboarding accident. 8 years ago, I had a snowboarding accident. It rendered me useless, right? Before that, I was drinking, eating, doing whatever, eating a regular diet. And then I had a snowboarding accident and it made me completely useless for like 3 months. And in that 3 months, I started learning about nutrition and food and how to heal the body. Throughout that process, I then become pescatarian. And fast forward to 5 years later, I was still having the same issues, still not feeling comfortable and confident in my body. And nowadays, and then, sorry, in 2020, I decided to go completely plant-based. And it wasn't until I went completely plant-based that I actually realized how much I wasn't living my life, how much I was lacking in energy. And this really propelled me to become fully engrossed as a plant-based weight loss coach. Now, not only that, is I really do enjoy helping people uncover and shift the shitty reasons of why they're staying stuck. So really good for yo-yo dieters, binge eaters, if you're really struggling. So say this is like your first time losing weight and you're like, maybe I could lose weight. You're going to learn a lot here. But I love talking to those who are yo-yo dieters. So if you struggled with weight loss before, at least if you tried a diet and you felt like it hasn't worked before, I am your go-to girl. Okay. Now, the problem is in the next month or 2 months, we are going to start piling on the pounds. But the worst part of the problem is we're not even going to realize until we come hit January, and then we're like, holy crap, I am a lot heavier than I wanted to be. And so the problem that we're facing now is come January, you're going to struggle to feel that confident and sexy person that you want to be, especially if you're hoping that the New Year's resolution is going to be the thing, right? The motivation, the kick in the ass that you need to change. I literally heard this from my family member last weekend. One of my dearly loved family members said, "Yeah, I'm gonna start in January." Well, let me tell you, I can tell you exactly what is going to happen. January is coming around. January the 1st, they're probably going to be slightly hungover. And then January the 2nd, well, this is when we start, isn't it? By January the 17th, they are going to fall off track. And that is really negative and pessimistic of me. But that is because I know that there is a lot of things that they haven't put into place and considered moving through the Christmas and festive season and into the future. So the thing is what I'm going to teach you today isn't just about getting through the festive season. It's about starting January, not in a in a calorie in a weight surplus, right? Not starting it at a set weight, which you could be right now, but starting January, 10 pounds heavier. Starting January, having to undo 3 or 4 weeks worth of additional toll that you're putting onto your body. Over the festive season, we tend to eat a lot more. Temptation is everywhere we go. It feels like pushing a boulder uphill, and it feels almost uncouth and socially unacceptable to be going on a diet through the festive season, to be trying to watch out of your weight through the festive season. I want you to think about this for a second. How often have you said, I'm trying to lose weight or I'm trying not to drink? And then someone barks back with, oh, but it's Christmas. Oh, but you should just enjoy yourself. The problem is those words, those sentences, they are so detrimental to your health because it's not just the festive season. You're now having to undo additional work. So all year that you, or all the time, a lot of people that I'm speaking to, they've been going for many years. A lot of the time that you have been, okay, let's start again, Bianca, chill. The last few years, if you have been struggling to lose weight, one more month is going to significantly impact your ability to drop that off. On the other hand, if you're just starting to think about weight loss, if you get to January and you're only 5 pounds heavier, that's still 5 extra pounds that you have put on that you're going to have to shift. Okay, so whether you have been holding on for a couple of years and you want to make a change, or whether you are just wanting to just shed a little bit of the last part of 2023 weight, either way, just accepting that it's going to be okay through Christmas is so detrimental. What you're going to end up doing is telling your brain, telling your patterns, telling your cravings that it is okay just for this month. But what that's doing is that is really solidifying, it is really compounding the habit and the craving and the autonomic systems that you have already created, and it is making that path firmer. So what I mean by that is, let's say, for example, you know that when you feel stressed, maybe you eat a little bit more. Okay, so every single time you feel stressed and then you eat, you are solidifying that neural pathway, and you are kind of reinforcing it. And every single time you do that, you're reinforcing it. So say you do that once a day through December because it's Christmas, you're reinforcing that behavior and that habit 31 times, right? So imagine if you started, or if you tackled the festive season with a plan, a solid plan that was going to help you either maintain or even lose weight throughout the festive season. How incredible would that be? You would be 10 steps ahead of the rest, 20 steps ahead of the rest. You'll be a step ahead of yourself, and that is important. But what is really, really challenging to accept is that 90% of New Year's resolutions fail. Now, I've mentioned this a few times before. 90% of New Year's resolutions fail. So why are we waiting for a New Year's resolution for the next day, essentially, because from the 31st to the 1st, it's just a new day. You've just had 365 of them this year. Okay, 330, whatever, so far. Nothing has changed. If you do not make a change now, nothing is going to change on the 1st. Nothing. if you make a change, a lot is going to happen. 90%, 95% of it, get this, 95% of people who go on a diet will lose weight and then gain some, right? So I'm not talking about 95% of people go on a diet. I'm talking about 95% of people who go on a diet will lose weight and then gain it back and some. On average, women will do this over 7 times in their lives. I know quite a few of you gals in here probably sick to death of jumping back on that bandwagon. And that is what a New Year's resolution is doing. As soon as you create this stigma around it, you are creating this last resort, this last plan. And I've had people come to me and say, Bianca, you are my last resort. If I can't do this, I can't do anything. Right? Talking about pressure. But people come to me and say this just bodes the, like, it just goes and confirms that so many people are dropping the weight but putting it back on because they haven't addressed the underlying issues. Now, realistically, do you want to be in the 95% or do you want to be in that 5%? The 5% that are going to keep the weight off. Stop putting all of your eggs in a New Year's resolution basket. Stop relying on a statement that you say once to change everything when realistically it's not going to work. The problem is that most of us are stuck in that 95% range. And you know what? That number is so freaking high. And I'm not going to lie, some of my clients will stick around because this shit takes time. Yes, you can go to someone else. And if you want fast weight loss, please do not hang around because I do not ever advocate fast weight loss. I do not tell you to go on a 75 hard where most people fail. I do not tell you to restrict your calories to a ridiculous amount where you feel shit, where you're arguing with everyone, where you're constantly hungry, when you're constantly thinking about food. The thing of the benefits of what I and how I coach is that it's not drastic, but it's sustainable. So you are no longer sitting in that 95% zone. My clients are working within that 5% zone. They're going to lose the weight and they're going to keep it off. So how do we keep it off? Now, a few things that I want to know is I only have a limited time on these calls, and today I'm really strapped for time. So this is just going to be a sneak peek into what you can do to make sure that you maintain or lose weight through Christmas season. Okay. Now, I want you to think about tackling the festive season in 3 chunks. You've got the pre-season prep, mid-season battle, and the past season recovery. Okay, so tackling this weight loss, tackling this festive season without gaining weight is going to have to be split up into 3. Now, you need to understand that each of these 3 has their own components. It has their own key modules and key things that you need to focus on. But there's only so much time that I have today. So today we're going to focus on the pre-season prep, okay? The mid-season battle and the past season recovery are just as important, and you don't want to lose those. So with the, no, ignore that. So let's dive in. How can you pre-season prep this year to make sure that you are not reliant on a New Year's resolution to help you lose weight? And so you start January in the best possible position for you. Best position you've ever been in a January. 1, get your pen and paper. 1, understand your needs and requirements. The problem is most of us go into the festive season without even contemplating what our needs are and what our requirements are. And we expect to assume that everyone else knows what we need and what we want, when in actual fact, we don't know what we need and what we want, right? We don't need that either. So you need to take a moment and understand your needs and requirements. I want you to spend 20 minutes on this. What are my requirements and needs over Christmas, over the New Year's festive season, right? What is going to make me feel the best? What is going to give me the most amount of energy? What do I need? Underneath that, we've got different types of categories, okay? So understanding your requirements, think about the quantities of food that you are eating, right? What is your need and requirement? Do you need an entire meal? Do you need an entire like stacked plate? Is that necessary? Again, understanding where your limits are, when you are going to feel like you've had enough, when you've eaten to energize, not to feel full, that is a need and requirement that you must know. What does that usually visually look like? What kind of foods do I know that I need to get in order to feel and look the best? So food types. What you want is also underneath this. So understand your needs and requirements of what is it that you also want, right? Do you want weight loss? Do you want maintenance? Do you want to feel good or look good? Do you want to socialize? Do you not want to socialize? I don't want to socialize over Christmas. You might think, of course, I want to socialize. You know, one thing that I noted down today is I want you to think that when you say, well, yeah, of course I want, or of course I don't want, one thing that I always know, but one thing that really struck out to me today is what your of course is, or what your understanding is of something is totally different to the next person. So I was on the phone to someone yesterday and they said, oh yeah, just the normal this and that, right? And I said, yeah, but what's your normal? And then I had a conversation today and they said, well, yeah, of course I want XYZ. And I was thinking to myself, well, the person I was speaking to yesterday, that's not their of course. Their of course is a totally different thing. Just a side note, just a caveat. So you might think, oh, of course I want weight loss, or of course I want to maintain. But don't forget that your of course is different to someone else's of course, which therefore means that your needs and requirements are going to be different to another person's needs and requirements. So you need to make sure that people are aware of this sneak peek. So as part of your pre-season prep, you're going to want to do some planning. So you've kind of understood what your needs and requirements are. Sorry, eczema. So you've understood what your needs and requirements are. Now we're going to put a bit of a plan in place. And now I don't mean we're going to need to pull up like a CSI glass wall and get 100 pens and sticky notes and start stringing together photos. We don't need to go into too much detail, just a brief outline of kind of what you want, what you're expecting. So we're putting things on paper now. So planning, let's do a little bit of goal setting. There is nothing wrong with goal setting. And in fact, goal setting actually gives you direction. It gives you a clear path to follow so you don't feel lost, so you don't struggle. So as part of your planning, you're going to set some goals, 1 or 2 month goals. That's it. That's all you need to do. And then within that, what do you need to do each week? So just breaking it down ever so slightly. As part of your planning, there's definitely something that you need to figure out around food as well. What kind of foods am I going to or want to have or will allow myself to have? What are the foods that I choose to avoid this festive season? Maybe some foods that you know are irritants. Maybe they give you gas or bloating the next day. Maybe they have you feeling really shit. Maybe they have you feeling unenergized by them. Whatever it is, make a note, write it down. As soon as you get pen to paper, you're starting to create boundaries, not just for yourself, but for other people as well. And creating boundaries is going to help you reach your goals. So start writing out what foods are my green light foods this festive season? What foods are my yellow light foods? And what foods are my red light foods? Now, red, yellow, and green foods, all we're thinking about are green. Yes, I can have this in abundance. Yellow is, well, I can have these sometimes. And red is try to avoid at all costs. Okay. And don't forget that you are choosing this. You're not held at gunpoint. You are not going to keel over and die if you have these foods. Obviously, we're avoiding severe intolerances. They need to be on your red light list. But what I'm saying is approach this. So be mindful about how you're approaching your red, yellow, and green light foods as well. Good thing to know. Decide or say out loud that you are choosing to go with this. You are choosing to avoid these foods this year because they make you feel like XYZ. Then maybe they make you feel lethargic, sluggish, tired, bloated, upset, guilty, shameful. We don't want that. We don't, because that's not enjoyable, right? That's not enjoyable. So what food types do you want and what is it that you want? Planning, we've got goal setting, figuring out exactly your red, yellow, and green foods. Sorry. Also, what alcohol? Oh my God, I literally say that as like, I say alcohol when I'm being silly, not when I'm being on camera. What alcohol do you anticipate on drinking? Is there alcohol that you really want to avoid? And is there an amount of alcohol that you really want to avoid? Do you know after 2 glasses of wine you become an asshole? Guilty. What are your limits? Again, planning. If you don't plan, you have zero expectations. If you go in this going, oh, I'll just figure it out when I get there. How has that served you so far? Right? I have to say this to myself. I'm like, oh, I'll figure it out. And I'm like, well, how has just figuring it out served me? Actually, it's never served me. Planning ahead is so important. Also, planning with people. Who do you need to avoid? Who do you need to sit next to? Who's going to encourage you to follow your goals and follow your desires and follow your dreams? Who is going to push you in the opposite direction? I know for a fact if I sit next to one family member, not going to name them because they might be in this group, if I sit next to that one family member, they will be ordering shots, they will be pouring shots, overflowing my wine glass. Whereas if I sit next to a different family member, they will be totally understanding of my goals, of my desires, and they will probably help me. They will probably encourage me to go for the things that I want, all my green light foods and alcohols, and avoid my red light foods and alcohols, quantities and types. So planning, who is it that I need to gravitate towards? Who is it that I need to avoid? It's as part of the planning as well, there's substitutions and swaps. So we need to be extremely mindful of, okay, if there's going to be this food, X food, I'm going to substitute it with Y. So again, it's all in the planning phase. If you are going to, if you're transitioning to plant-based, let's say, at the moment, what do you need to substitute? What do you need to stop? What do you need to swap, take out? So again, writing these things down. Okay, I know that when we have our family get together, they all have turkey. So I'm going to bring something that's going to keep me satiated, keep me happy, and that's going to be according to plan. Bear with me 1 second because I'm supposed to meet a client now, but I'm running a little bit late. I wonder if you're watching this. If you are, please message me, let me know you're okay with it. She's fine. Okay, now let's shimmy on a little bit. Finally, this is my last point anyway. Scheduling. So don't forget, this is all under the one of 3 points of tackling the festive season, which is your pre-season prep. Okay, under your pre-season prep, it's really important to be mindful of time and scheduling. Okay, so what happens over the Christmas period is we just get so caught up in everything. We start panicking, we're stressing, we're running around trying to collect things. Oh no, the shops have run out of things. And we are going absolutely crazy. So it's really, really, really important to schedule. What happens when we don't schedule, when we don't plan, is we go on a whim. And nothing good ever happens when we go on a whim. Nobody ever said, oh, I went on a whim and lost 10 pounds. Nobody ever. If you did, please let me know. So making sure that your timing is realistic, making sure that you have planned it and scheduled in the things that are important to you. I'm not just talking about the food shopping, the present shopping. I'm talking about time for self-care, time to de-stress and unwind. It's one of the busiest and craziest seasons of the year. I don't want you getting towards the end of the month and realizing, oh wait, I didn't do anything for my health. I didn't do anything for my stress. I didn't get enough sleep, because ultimately they are going to be part of the reason, or most of the reason, why you would have gained or maintained weight when you want to lose weight. Okay, so it's really important to keep on top of time, because again, nothing ever good happens on a whim. Now, there's just a couple of points for pre-season prep. Like I said, the mid-season battle and the past season recovery are super, super, super important. Important part of the process. You can't just go in planning. With the planning, you need a strategic method that you can implement. You need to implement this properly and correctly. So mid-season battle, it is really important that you have got the right things and the right information at the right time. And then you've got your past season recovery. So what I mean by this is the guilt or the shame that you might feel. You need to make sure that we've got a plan in place to ease that, because that's ultimately going to dictate whether you succeed or fail as well. Long reasons, I'm not going to get into it right now. I just realized you probably saw me drunk that really well, but I'm trying to maintain the lipstick. Sorry. Past season recovery is we want to be able to keep everything that we have learned and implemented, to keep it, make sure it's sustainable and repeatable. So past season recovery, we don't want to just drop it like a diet, right? We don't want to just drop it like a hot potato. I don't want you to drop it and run away and go, oh, that was great. Because everything that I said at the start of this video would have been then redundant, right? Because without the past season recovery, it's just another freaking diet. It's just another diet. Okay, you can put all the prep in, but how are you going to execute it, and how are you going to make sure that it's a sustainable lifestyle, not a diet? You can put all the mid-season battle in, you can implement all of those things, but if you haven't planned, and if you haven't got a proper recovery strategy in place, it's like 3 legs of a stool, right? If one of them isn't in line, then the stool's going to fall. So how do I get those other legs of the stool, Bianca? I hear you saying that loud and clear in my ears, where I can't hear anyone. But today I only had time to cover one of the basics, as you can see. it is going to be a busy few weeks. So coming up, I'm going to go into full depth next week on the festive holiday strategy session workshop. It's not easy for me to say. Not only are we going to cover like in depth what you should be putting in place, so we're going to go through the whole planning. We're going to be creating that solid action plan. I'm going to tell you exactly what you need to put into your implementation, into your mid-season, what did I call it? Into your mid-season battle, and give you the right strategy to come out of that so you're not dropping it like a hot potato. So you are keeping it, holding it, and nursing it and nurturing a beautiful new healthy lifestyle all the way through, right? December is possibly one of the most detrimental months to our health, both physically and mentally, because we just let it go from a perspective of it's okay, it's just a month, it's just Christmas, right? And that is where most people end up getting the bad behaviors and solidifying the bad behaviors, and then we spend all year unpicking it, and then by the time the next year comes around, it's, oh well, it's just Christmas again. Okay, so I want you to be able to go into January, go into 2024 feeling fucking strong, feeling like a badass, knowing that you have this in the bag and that you have no problems. And I want you to start January 2024 lighter than when you went into December. So if you missed the Black Friday offer and you're not going to get onto the workshop, that's okay. I just released the workshop date and link today. This is a paid workshop, okay? It's $59. I think that works out to about 40 pounds to attend, okay? If you are not a current client, my current paying clients, they get free VIP access. They're already coming. Past clients, if you're a past client, you get 50% off, and I will drop the links in the comments so you guys can start 2024 strong with the right plan in place. And by the way, this plan can be reused and re-implemented as many times as you want. Stay in the 5%, not the 95% of people who lose weight and then gain it back again. Okay, sending you all of the love. I hope this helps. I'm just going to flick over, see if we have any comments or questions. Paola, nice to see you. Holidays are hard. They can be hard without the right strategy, right? Without the right planning, implementation, and recovery. So if you find, Paola, if you find holidays and the festive season difficult, get your butt on that workshop. I want to see you there. Anyway, folks, take care, and I very much look forward to seeing you all on the workshop. See you. Bye for now.